Do you want to sit up, maybe?
Ah.
You're just going to lie there? Where the camera cannot see you. So there's no point in you even being here.
Oh my god. What's happened to your bed?
It's always been like that, mate. It's shit. Because I shagged too much on it. Right.
Well, that's a fucking bollocks excuse.
I don't want them seeing what my eyes look like. You just fell over.
Ah, dear.
Hello.
Am I going to be in this?
Just sit up a bit more. It's fucking there, mate. You fucking... Hello. How's everyone doing? Welcome to the Cancel Podcast, episode 9. Featuring Shelley, my mother, his girlfriend. This episode, the reason why you're seeing us here in this setting, I've just got to say before we start anything, this fucking stupid cunt accidentally deleted part of the footage for the podcast. So we recorded 2 angles, me and him and Shelley, and we only have a video for Shelley, and it's just Shelley. So it's just on her face. So we thought that's going to look fucking shit because you can't actually see us in the podcast. So instead, we've got to do audio only. The reason why we just stuck to it and just thought, fuck it, we're still going to put it out, is because this is, hand on heart, an incredible fucking podcast episode. It is the best one we have done. If you end up enjoying it, please do us a favour, leave a like on the video, leave a comment. We read every single comment that gets posted on here. I'm sure Shelley will as well. It's a deep episode. We talk about a lot of things, including my mum's attitude towards coronavirus and how she doesn't think it's real. Go on, you can say something.
Enjoy the episode.
There we go. You just did not need to be here. Cheers.
Just in the background dancing. Just like this, like this.
Hello everyone. Welcome to...
Hi guys. Welcome to Cancel Podcast. Hey!
I don't like this.
Hello, welcome to the Cancel Podcast episode.
Hello and welcome to the Cancel Podcast.
I think she's nervous. I think that's why she's being like that.
What do you want me to say
You're
now?
nervous? You're nervous, be honest. Are you
Hello,
nervous?
Hello and welcome
Right,
to
we'll do
the
we'll
enjoy
intro.
it.
intro.
Cheers.
Right, no more talking, Shelley.
Cheers, thank you. Hello, welcome to the Cancel Podcast episode 9. You're joined by me, Mr. Banter. You're joined by Mr. Giraffe TV.
Hello.
And you're joined by
Shelley.
Mrs. Banter.
Oh yeah.
Mrs.
Forgot my
Banter.
name.
My girlfriend.
Connor's girlfriend.
Second mum Connor.
No, I was on about
Come on
Brad's.
now.
Oh
was talking as Brad.
Because I called her Mrs. Banter.
My girlfriend.
How are you, Shelley?
I'm alright, yeah.
You good?
I'm good, yeah, I'm
You're
fine.
generally good.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I feel great. I've had my vitamin C, my vitamin D3 and magnesium and zinc. That's what I'm feeling at the moment.
You've had your knees
Get
in the
stocked
sink?
up.
Is that what she just said?
She's had your knees in the sink. She said she's had a magnesium zinc. You've had your knees in the
I'd
sink.
never get my knees in the sink now, Connor. Bloody hell.
Oh, you put your knees in the sink before?
Bloody hell, has put my knees in the bath. Put them in the
dear.
sink. No, I won't fit them in the sink now. Put on weight.
Yeah, we didn't really promote you coming on here, but we thought we'd have a sort of surprise, something different. The first guest.
Just take my volume up.
It's weird. It's weird because you've been asking us to come on this podcast for a while now.
Yeah.
Because you've got all your crazy ideas, and I say crazy. That's quite dismissive. You've got all your ideas.
Conspiracy theories. Really.
Well, you know, you can say conspiracy theories. You can say whatever you want to say, but you've got some
stories.
Some out of the ordinary beliefs at the moment.
Yeah, I suppose they are out of the ordinary, aren't they? Because we've just been living
No.
an ordinary, mundane life, and then we're all waking up now.
I wouldn't say they're out of the ordinary though, because it is actually happening. Do you know what I mean? It's everything that you're conspiracying about.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not as if it's just a load of shite.
And the
You know
thing
what I mean?
is, as well, Connor, all this stuff that I was reading about that's happening now, this was back in March when all this started. This lockdown started.
We'll get into that in a minute anyway, because obviously I've not even said what you even believe in, but you've obviously got quite strong opinions regarding like the coronavirus and the lockdown and everything like that.
Yeah.
I think we will get into that a bit later on though. I don't really want to get into that like now, but just to let you know, Shelley's on here because she wants to talk my mother is on here because she wants to talk about conspiracies pretty much. That's why she wants to come on. But we'll talk about all sorts with her. We'll talk about me doing YouTube, early life with us, with me living with you. I don't live with you anymore, right? We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Talk about all sorts, and then we can move on to what you actually want to talk about. We'll give you some airtime for what you want to speak about on this podcast that now gets 2.7k views in a week.
Well, yeah.
If we're lucky.
I'm glad you actually said about the YouTube thing, because I don't think I've ever spoke to you about what you thought about what he does. I don't think I've actually ever had that conversation with you.
Right, yeah. Well, I didn't really
like
understand
starting
it.
from the beginning now.
I didn't understand it. Did I really? I just, all I thought it was, remember when you started off doing the Minecraft videos?
Yeah.
And to me, I just thought you were just doing general gaming things.
Oh, what? So what?
Yeah, and then it led to YouTube, didn't it? Commentary.
Well, when I was doing my videos, I was uploading them to YouTube,
Yeah.
but they weren't getting anywhere. I was refreshing my own videos. You know, when YouTube used to stick at 301 views.
Yeah, I used to do that.
I
Yeah,
do
but
that, and
I
all my
think-
videos had
I think
301 views.
The good thing about that as well, and it was a learning. You were enjoying it, weren't you? And you weren't just doing it to. There was no end goal. You were just in the moment.
Of course
doing it,
not.
weren't
This
you?
is where
You was
people go
enjoying
wrong.
it.
This is why people don't get anywhere with it. I'm not
maybe-
trying to preach like
And maybe that's
got.
because you were being yourself, and it was an outlet for you, wasn't it, to be yourself? You could properly do it.
And this isn't me trying to preach saying, oh, if you know, I've got somewhere with it. But it is my job. It is what pays. But I do YouTube as a job, as a paying job. Despite what people might think. I know people always joke on my live streams.
Yeah,
Like,
get a better job.
Get a job
Get a real
soon.
job.
but I
Mate, he earns more than what I've earned. You earn more in a week than I earn in a month. And I have a proper job. So that argument is just irrelevant. I've never agreed with that. I think it's fucking retarded, but
it is retarded. Of course it is. But that's what I mean. I think most people who say that take the piss, and then some people. But it is what it is. But obviously, from doing what I did as a hobby. And from having pure intentions and just wanting to do it as a hobby because I like doing it. I got big because I like doing it, and I just got lucky. I think I really found a niche in the market at the time when I got big.
Right time, right place, wasn't it?
It was edgy content that catapulted me, and it was just as people started doing it. Well, it was just as people. It was like supply and demand, so people really wanted to see it, but there weren't many people doing it when I just started.
Was you doing it at the same time, Connor?
No, I think what was that? I was doing the same to fair, like the Minecraft videos and stuff like that. And then I just give
Because
up.
that's how you two got to know each other, wasn't it? Through that?
Yeah, through one of our old mates.
Well, when our first interaction, I had a Minecraft server in 2015 with the Flying Pigster.
Oh gosh, he was great, wasn't he?
I
brilliant.
I spoke to him on the phone last night.
Oh, he was so I liked him.
Yeah,
Nice
so
guy.
he was nice.
I'm talking as if he's
Talking as if he's dead.
sorry, Pixter, no disrespect. It's just I've not heard your voice in a while.
I find it funny that we still call him Pigster as well.
Yeah, he's not called himself Pigster in 5 years.
Adult man.
He's called Callington.
What?
He's literally a Muslim.
Oh, is that why you called Pigster?
No.
Pigster?
Yeah, I don't think so.
God, that's the reason why.
I just wondered where it got that name from.
Muslim
Pigster.
No, he had like a Minecraft skin, which was a pit on Minecraft. You can change the way you look, like your little cartoon.
Oh, did he actually
skin.
look like a pig? in real
On
life?
Minecraft, he looked like a pig.
He's just a normal person.
I can't remember what he looked like.
Did he look like a
He
pig in
dark-
person?
Dark skin, would he? Where was he?
Brown. He's brown.
One of his parents is from Morocco.
Morocco.
Yeah.
Over from Canada, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, he's a nice lad. He's not really religious.
Do you know
or
what
anything.
I thought about Pigster though? No disrespect, Pigster. Because you was quite a young age when you first met him. Were you about 14? I
Yeah.
think. And I thought Pigster were one of these.
You thought he was a paedophile, didn't you?
perverts.
Yeah,
I just thought because I had to keep an eye on you at the time. I was keeping an eye on
Pigster is
you.
2 months younger than me. He's 2 months younger
He
than me.
sounded
but
a lot older than what he.
He had a really deep voice
He
and like
is,
when
yeah.
we were like 14.
Yeah.
Honestly, when you were 40, you sounded like
A
you
queer.
fucking
A
loved
little
it.
queer, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Anyway, getting back to that,
Yeah.
me and this guy called Pigster, who used to make all my Minecraft videos with you, a good friend of mine, I still
Yeah.
keep in touch with him. We had a Minecraft server very briefly called the bantermc.net, and this is when I just started
Oh,
getting
yeah, I remember
a bit
that.
of traction with Minecraft. So I started talking to bigger people and shit like that. I was getting like a couple of thousand views on like genuine views, and I'm at like maybe 5,000 views.
There were a lot then back though.
Yeah,
There were a lot
that was
back then,
decent.
though.
And because views on YouTube now account for a lot less than what they used to account for. 5k views was like what 25k views is now, 30k views is now.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say.
So obviously I was getting like 5k views a video. So I just started getting traction. I opened this Minecraft server called bantermc.net. It was just when I changed my name from Brad Does Minecraft to Brad Does Banter. So we opened this Minecraft server, and then we're going back early 2015, so we're going back 5.5, almost 6 years ago.
Yeah.
He messaged me saying, "Oh, I'm a builder." He used to build for servers. He used to build for all these big servers that made like hundreds of thousands of dollars. Did Connor? And he was like, "Oh, I'm a friend of Billy's," because he knew Chubbs, he knew Billy, and he's just like, I could build for your server, but I never actually. I never saw the message. And then a few months later, maybe like 6 months down the line, end of 2015, start of 2016, Billy used to add him to calls. Me and him started talking. I opened my Twitter DMs and I thought, I said, you messaged me earlier in the year. You fucking said about Billy. He's like, oh yeah, I did. And then me and him started talking from that.
5 years later,
but before we knew each other, he tried to message me. He tried to message me about Minecraft. Before we even knew each other, because he'd known me through Billy and through YouTube.
Well, what was that Club Penguin thing you was in then, Brad? Was that, you were a lot younger, but did that...
Now.
Remember that Club Penguin? Did that lead to
No, nothing
Minecraft?
to do with YouTube, that.
Well, no, I'm on about like Minecraft, because you was in... I remember...
I used to play Club Penguin in like 2006, when I was like 7 years old.
I put it on
Yeah,
my laptop and I put it on
from
for
the
you,
beginning,
didn't
though,
I?
do you know what I mean?
You
That's when I first started using a computer.
Yeah, there you go. The expansion from that.
Because I was, I think you were the same, but
weren't that an interactive? There was an interactive thing going on, wasn't it?
yeah.
I remember you used to meet people. Did you know Connor from that?
No. I knew Connor when I said.
But
But what I was going to say, I think he was similar.
6 years too many.
I used to I used to go out a lot as a kid, so I wasn't the type of kid who played computer games. Like a lot of YouTubers now are YouTubers because they grinded shit and they they started doing it for YouTube.
Yeah.
That wasn't me. I became a YouTuber because I came out of school. I had nothing to do.
Yeah.
Right. That's why I started doing it. But when I was younger, I didn't play computer games. I didn't play on the PC much. Apart from that, when I was younger, I used to go out all the time. I think you were the same, weren't you?
Yeah.
I mean, you did play shit, but you also.
I think up until you were about 14, didn't you?
I was out all the time. I was out
I
every
was
day.
about 17, I think. I was always out. Probably when I turned 18 as well.
Yeah.
And I just started going out loads.
Yeah.
But I also worked in as well, so.
But yeah, I got really depressed out of school. I was like bad. Really bad.
Yeah.
So I just closed myself off. So I just started doing YouTube.
Yeah, it's a good escape. But like, even when we're
It's
even
creative
when we're that
and all, though, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
You're using your creative talents, and I
Yeah,
think that's
exactly.
what
I
we
mean,
miss out
see,
in
I
school, don't
love
they,
that.
You weren't in school when you're doing it. Like when I was like doing like Minecraft videos and stuff, I was in sixth form and shit like that.
Oh,
Like,
really?
I got bullied like fuck, mate, really badly bullied. But who cares? You know what I mean? It's
You actually made something out of it, though.
yeah,
Because
exactly. So then
I
all
mean,
them same people that take the piss, and I'm sure if you was in school, everyone would take the piss out of you. They'd all be sucking your asshole now. Do you know what I mean?
And do you know something
do.
else
They
as
do.
well
Listen
on,
to me, and I've got
on
nothing
that,
anymore.
Connor, when you're saying about people who took the piss and bullied you? I always say these people, they're our biggest lessons.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, they always say your enemies are your biggest teachers, aren't they?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
because
Because all them same people,
because they
then
give you
they're like, wow, you've done so well.
motivation,
What the
that I'll
fuck?
prove this, that I'm not like that, I'll prove
Yeah.
and you want to better yourself then, don't you? I think
Yeah,
that's,
exactly.
well,
No,
of course
yeah,
it is. It primes you, it really, for what you're doing now, I reckon, yeah.
But yeah, I think you smashed it. I think you got lucky, but you also did it really well.
when I noticed myself getting into recommend, obviously I knew people with like 10 million subs. I knew big people. I used to speak to PewDiePie back then, you know what I mean, like 2015 and shit. I knew fucking huge people. I knew huge people. So I had been told, once you get into recommended on YouTube, once you get a bit of traction and YouTube, the algorithm favours you, smash it out. So as soon as I saw that happen, and my first video got like 100,000 views, I'm like, bang.
I remember when you got
Put it out every single day.
frame, didn't you? What was that? Was that the 100,000 views?
Yeah, the plaque. But obviously, you know, that came after I blew up then. But
Have you brought that here with you?
Yeah,
Did
yeah,
you?
that's
I
in my
packed it for you, didn't I?
it's on the wall. But yeah, so obviously, and then I think that was a mad moment, getting my first like big paycheck from ad revenue. But I used to get into your bank. It was before I even had a bank account, and I was like freshly 17.
I remember it was like £150 a month or something like that.
Well, it went from that, and then my first big one, all of a sudden, it went from £150 a month I used to get, and then it was like I made 1,950 quid from 3 weeks of ad revenue. And I'm just like, fucking hell, this is my job now. Sick. I'll make it at 17.
Yeah.
I've made $2 grand.
Yeah.
And then we went out in Manchester. We went out in Manchester, remember, and I bought that watch, that watch that had leather on. That was the first thing I ever bought.
Your boss watch.
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah, I
Went
do
into
actually,
I
yeah.
still remember that.
That jewellery shop.
Because I remember saying to you, oh, Brad, don't spend too much money.
Well, I'm glad I did.
Think your mum? No, I didn't.
Don't spend yourself.
No, but that's the thing. I'm glad I did as well, because I'm glad I did things like that, because it was like my first thing I bought was a watch.
Yeah, I remember going with you, but then we went somewhere to eat, didn't we? Where did we go that day? I'm just thinking we went to that near Piccadilly Gardens. It was on the on the side bit, weren't it?
Yeah, and then I think I bought the meal as well.
Yeah, you did.
First time I could ever do
It was
that.
my birthday, weren't it?
No,
What,
it wasn't. No. It was early 2017. It was like February 2017.
Oh,
when,
right, okay, yeah.
What did you think when he told you how much he made that month? It's like,
when it went from, because obviously you knew what I did, but when it
from
went from here to
that
this,
fucking
I
boom.
thought, I
genuinely,
won't throw him out at 16, I'll wait till he's over 18.
even though I was already 17.
Till he's rich.
No, but seriously though, like...
No,
I think-
yeah, I thought that's great, that's brilliant. It'll give him the incentive to. But then again, I didn't even think that, because I knew that he enjoyed it, and I knew even if he didn't make loads of money, he still liked it anyway. And that's
exactly.
the beauty of being in a
It's
job
fine, mate.
where you're not
it
just
there,
doing
so.
it for profit, you're doing it for enjoyment. And I think it's the biggest gift, that, isn't it, to anybody?
Well, they always
Not look at
say-
these entrepreneurs. I've not even said it right, have I?
You have,
Yeah,
you have
I
said
can't
the
say
word.
that bloody word.
You just said it right.
All right, okay. I won't say it again because I'll fuck it up.
Entrepreneurs. Go on.
But yeah, he's not just doing it for the money gains of it. He's doing it for the enjoyment, and you can see that. Well, you can see it with both of you, really.
What was
when you do it.
What was your reaction? Was it like a relief? Because obviously I came out of school with no, because I dropped out,
And you
then
never worked or anything, did you?
the school system sort of dropped me on my ass.
Do you know what? It wasn't even a relief.
The council never put me in for GCSEs,
yeah.
so when I started making actual
I
money,
had confidence
before I was
that
even
you'd
18.
do it anyway. I just knew you'd do it. I knew you'd have the ability because I've seen what you were like in school.
what do you mean, like YouTube or?
Yeah, because I remember your media teacher saying to me, you know, you'll go far. And I never forget when I went to your parents' evening, and every parents' evening, I'm not just being biased here, but every parents' evening that I went to, they were saying, oh, he's going to go somewhere. And one of his English teachers especially said one time, she said, I could just see your name, Bradley, in neon lights. Do you remember that? We were sat at the desk, and she said, I've got something about you, neon lights. So we both looked at each other. And from there on in media, she was always ranting and raving about you, weren't she? Oh, keep it up, Brad. And that.
Well, that's something I've always been like curious about. So my media teacher, my cousin on my dad's side, she is in that school now. She's in like year 10 or whatever. She's in year 11.
Yeah.
And she has that. She had that teacher last year. My media teacher,
What's her name again?
Mrs. Fisher, she would call.
Yeah.
I don't want to go.
I think I've still got something at home. She wrote something.
But I'd be so
you, didn't she?
curious as to what my media teacher thinks now.
I know. I keep
I've
thinking
made
that.
fucking bags.
I'm wondering
from
if
some
they
of the
actually
media.
watch your videos, because of course somebody must have
Yeah,
said
of
something,
course, of
especially the primary school teachers as well. You know, because they're all like, I know
And-
people
and
that
I-
worked at that
I'd
school.
love to go
and
and meet
still
our
have
teachers
touch
and
with
stuff
them.
now,
Whenever I'm in Ashton
Yeah.
or whenever I was in Ashton,
Lovely.
I used to always get recognised by kids with that uniform on at school as well.
Yeah,
so I'm
yeah.
just thinking, like, when that teacher still works there, surely someone's.
Yeah.
100%.
I wonder if you could look them up though on social media.
No, I'm not just gonna say, hiya.
A farmer chat group.
Do you know I'm a YouTuber? Do you know I'm a YouTuber? By the way,
It'd be nice to, yeah.
it'd be a bit conceited, wouldn't it?
No,
Well,
teachers
no,
have to
not
have
really.
different names on Facebook.
Yeah,
You're not
yeah.
allowed to
it's-
talk about your
well, yeah,
actual
of course,
name.
yeah, it's confidentiality,
That's
isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
no,
yeah.
Victoria,
In fact, some of them don't even have a social
She was
media,
like
do
a-
they? Really, account.
like a school teacher for like, I was gonna say fucking spastics.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and she had to have a completely new Facebook with a different last name and stuff.
Yeah.
So you probably never find her. Going to the school, I'd fucking love. It's always when I go back to Pudsey as well, and I see like my school, like my old primary school. I'm just like, I'd love to just go in there
Yeah.
and just speak to like the teachers.
Yeah, maybe you could do
even
that.
like
Mind you wouldn't be able to go through gates now in this day and age, would you? You wouldn't be able to walk, would you?
You fat cunt.
Hey.
No, she's not being that. She's like, they think you'd be abducted a kid.
Oh,
You won't be able to fit for it.
sorry, mate.
So, you're calling me fat, and my
Yeah.
mum's calling me a
And
paedophile.
there's two reasons why you couldn't go through the gates. Well, they're both valid.
That is a madness. Sorry, mate. That's fucking awful.
So, let's fast forward a little bit. Me moving out. How's this
Now,
changed?
be
your
honest.
life? Don't
honest.
be funny about it. Be honest. How's it been?
What if I'm honest and funny at the same time?
Actually, no. So from the minute that you found out that he was moving out to actually
You
moving
didn't.
out.
I know you didn't take it seriously because it all happened very quick. And I used to talk about it in the past.
This
as
is
well.
how I want it though. From the minute you found out he was moving out,
Like in June.
the day
was
he
very
moved, the
quick.
day he moved out, and how you feel now?
Yeah, well, it was when I found out. It still didn't sink in because it was very quick. It was a matter of 2 weeks,
Well, I'm
wasn't
gonna say,
it?
yeah, it
2 or
was,
3
to be
weeks,
fair,
Yeah.
From,
And,
it was literally 3 weeks from when we said, you know what, we'll do this.
And then that day when I came here with your stuff when you moved in, and then I went back
You cried, didn't
on
you?
a
I'm pretty
train.
sure.
It was weird.
Yeah,
And I walked
yeah.
through the door and it was like a deathly silence. You know, because I was so used to him being upstairs walking
Yeah,
around.
always
and
that
he was,
presence of someone else.
yeah, I mean, I thought he was coming through floorboards a few times, you know, ceiling.
Yeah, well, yeah. He was
Ray used to
fucking
dance in that
ridiculously
bedroom.
Loud.
But yeah,
Ridiculously
just
loud.
certain things like that. And even now, funny enough, I'll be in the front room watching something. No, there might not be anything on telly because I don't watch much telly now. You know, I'm on my phone or
But you
whatever.
still think he's up?
I can hear creaking, but obviously because
That house
he's
is
not
haunted.
here.
That's because
Well,
the
That
house
house
is
is fucking
fucking
No,
riddled
but
with
set aside
demons.
that, I must be hearing, obviously, because your presence in there now, I'm hearing the neighbours more so, aren't I? You know, don't forget, I can't hear very well anyway, but
Excuse me.
I can hear
Honestly, I'm
creaking going
surprised
on
you
and
can
stuff.
even hear
Yeah.
anything
But yeah,
upstairs.
and then I do think for a minute, I think, oh, you know, I think, oh, you're up there, then I don't. It's weird, really.
What, you still think that now?
Yeah,
Even though it's
so
like-
now and again, because I was so used to hearing you walking about and
What's it
running
been now,
about
like
your room.
4.5 months now?
I thought, well, I keep telling people it's 6 months. but
Yeah, four and a half. It's 5. Oh wait, no, it's 5 months in 2 days.
Yeah, it took me a couple of weeks to kind of, 3 weeks to
So
adjust,
you got
really.
some money to make this fucking month, man.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Unlucky. Actually, no, you got 2 months.
But yeah, no, like, so did you believe I was gonna move out when I said it first? I'm guessing no. I'm guessing no when I said right, me and God are getting a flat.
You've said it
Yeah,
many times.
We've been saying it since we're fucking
And,
17.
Because you'd said it many times. You'd even said it a few months before you said it when you meant it. And you know what I was like, I believe it when I see it. Because you come up with all these fantastic ideas in the past. I'm not saying that you never execute them.
What about like a week and a half later when we went for that flat viewing and then remember when Eve drove us
Well,
home?
it was a little bit up in the air at first, wasn't it, with the references and things. So
Yeah,
there was a side of me trying not to get my hopes up, and I'm thinking,
we were gonna
they'll
cancel.
be lucky if they get it. Yeah,
It was a fucking
we were this
nightmare.
close away from saying
Yeah.
right,
Fuck off.
fucking this flat.
because I was thinking, oh shit, you know, and I really knew then, especially when you'd seen this place, and you both had your heart set on it, and then there was a bit of
Oh,
a
they're just
U-turn,
nightmare.
weren't they?
Honestly, I'm dreading for when we move out. I just think it's gonna be a fucking nightmare.
Just for referencing.
No, because you got to give all your meter readings for the entire time you've lived here, and then all your council tax. It's fucking it's nightmare. But and they're a shite, so it'll be awful. Anyway,
maybe that might not happen for a while yet, you know.
I think the first time your child moves out.
Your mum cried, did she?
Yes, yeah, my mum was in pieces for about a week, like pieces.
And-
but then she was like, actually, the house is very, very nice and quiet.
She used to like the idea of you moving out, didn't she?
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah,
She
she
always
loved
woke her
it.
up at night.
And then when it actually happened, she must have cried in my arms for about 10 minutes. 10
Right.
minutes, which is a long time.
Yeah.
Oh, like, fucking hell. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to make me stay?
Well, she teared up at the train station. Remember that day when we walked to the train station?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
upsetting.
it's very emotional.
But
Of course
then,
it
to be
is.
fair, if he moved back in, you'd be like, get out.
I'd be
Fuck
fucking
off.
properly crying.
What do you mean?
Get out. No,
No, I think after...
Because when I moved in for the second time when they started lockdown, me and my mum hated each other. She was actually like, you need to get the fuck out of my house.
She was looking forward. She was looking forward to being home, wasn't she?
Yeah, but don't forget.
She could not. She literally was for a month been like, please move home. I'm scared. You're gonna fucking do something stupid.
But I suppose you went from
like, get the fuck out.
you and your mum both went from having your own privacy space.
Well, she
to coming back together again, didn't you?
My brother, she lives with my brother.
Yeah.
She lives with his brother.
Yeah.
So,
I know that.
So she's not got, but she's just got space for Connor.
Yeah.
But to be fair, back then Lewis was really quiet and just did his own thing, whereas now he's a fucking pain in the ass because he's just like me.
Well, that's what I mean. Maybe
he
she
gets
didn't
home
think.
at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Fucking
It was like he wasn't there.
Not off his nut.
Yeah,
pissed.
Yeah.
And yeah, but
And how do you feel now about? Well, you've had.
I've been
experience.
living on my own for 3 years.
And you literally lived on your own, like you.
Well, 3.5 years.
Like you lived in that penthouse with your mate for like a year. Then you lived on your own for more than a year in your own flat. It was a studio flat, but it was still your own space.
I love that flat, but that flat was the size of this room.
With the
Literally
bathroom
the size of the
included.
kitchen.
With the bathroom included.
Yeah.
It was fucking tiny.
But I loved it, mate.
Yeah.
I loved that flat. I'd happily go back there, mate.
It's a studio flat.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
In it a bit depressing though, wasn't it? A bit depressing sometimes, especially when you're out of work.
Yeah, but
Just have
exactly.
those 4 walls at the pipe.
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah.
My routine in lockdown was literally go to sleep at fucking 9 in the morning, wake up at 9 p.m. and go on my computer
Yeah,
for
I
12
remember
hours.
all that.
12 hours and then just do the same day every single day. It was literally like I was in a time portal. It was fucking
Yeah, I remember
awful.
you telling me.
So you can't manage.
Yeah, I hate
you
me by
can't
myself.
manage being out of work and not being busy and all that. You rely on distractions, whereas I fucking can just do that and be happy for a week, just
That's
fucking
what
do fuck all.
I think it's nuts, me. I think it's nuts. I wish I could just sit in my...
Because
I think, you know what? I think this is why I never tried with YouTube. Because obviously it did well. Obviously not many people can say they've done what we've done. Especially you, but like...
You had an opening at one point where you were banging views.
Mate, I was getting like 15,000 views a video.
No, more than that.
You were doing your
little tea shit in like the end of 2016 and someone banging like hundreds of thousands.
But I think it was because again, I think it's to do with my mum as well, because she'd always be banging on and be like, you need to fucking get up early and do something with your life. I'm like, fuck off. I'm earning alright money, I'm 17. Like, fuck off. I work at the Creek Club. So I work.
I wonder
You're
if
doing
that's
that
because
cash now, you were doing your
she
video.
didn't really understand anything about it at the time.
No, because she never saw the money. She never saw
Right,
the
yeah,
money.
well that's how I was at first. I was thinking, before I thought it was going to turn into a career, I was, like you do, we're all programmed to think, we need to have a good education, we need to have these GCSEs, the gateway to fucking success.
I didn't even go
and
to
that's
school,
what you're conditioned to think, though, aren't you? Thinking, because you've told from people, friends, family, and that if you haven't got qualifications, it was drummed into you, weren't it, at school? I remember that
we are both
authoritarian person coming to visit you when you was homeschooling and saying, oh, you know what this is going to mean now, you haven't got a skill and you haven't... And at the time, they weren't even giving me us funding, they stopped the funding a year prior to him coming out of school and being homeschooled.
Yeah, so she came out
so
basically
it meant that I'd have to pay like
lecturing
£200 per GCSE, each subject.
you don't need them, you literally don't, you do not need GCSEs.
He was prepared to pay it if he wanted to do it.
She came out lecturing me, didn't
But
she?
she
That
really
woman? When I was
did
all
make a
depressed
big
as
thing
well.
that you need
When
to
I was
have these GCSEs.
when I was fucking like suicidal pretty much at fucking 14 years old, and she's lecturing me, this fucking 17 grand a year woman.
Yeah.
And now, wagwan batty man. You know what I mean? Wagwan bum that.
I always
Also,
think
you got
you
two
don't let
people.
But
anybody
she's
do
doing
it.
a job, she's paid. It's like
Yeah, of
they're
course,
programmed to do things, aren't
Of course,
they?
it's all putting you into
It's
the
a system.
system. It's
Yeah.
a system, and it's making you think
Of course it is.
this is the only way to do it, and that's how they fucking.
It's more psychological.
Not to go
operation,
too
isn't it?
deep on it, and not to
Yeah.
be all like fucking tinfoil like her. Like she's rubbing off on me. She's been here
God,
for an
you forgot
hour.
that bloody tinfoil, didn't you?
But listen, that's why that's what they do. They fucking it's their way of controlling you by making you think that is your only option. You've got to do what everyone else is doing, and you've got to go through this specific route that everyone's doing. I'm not advocating for not doing your GCSEs and your A level, blah blah. Different things work for different people.
Yeah, but also you've got to
the
remember
point
she's
is,
doing a job, guys, so she's
no.
But
I'm saying the system, not this
Oh,
woman.
I know what you mean.
We've
Nothing
moved on
personal.
from.
Yeah, I know.
We've moved on from Missy's 17 grand a year.
Yeah,
We're
you're
talking
about the system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The system in general.
Yeah.
Not everything works for everyone. So some people need to go through that route and get an education who can manage it and properly do it and smash uni out and do what they want to do. Some people start your own business, do your own thing, just have
and
that.
do you know what else and all? They don't want people to be self-determined adults. And you know, creation, art and everything else.
If you
It's
have
not all about being a doctor and a nurse and a teacher.
Yeah.
It's
If
all
you-
about becoming yourself.
I say my
Thinking for yourself
my family just
outside the
drilled into me
box.
about trades, as in
Yeah.
like electrician, engineer. Went to all these things to do them all, and I was just like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? And why am I trying to impress my family? I do not give a fuck what they think.
And I think if you have more reliant on the state and shit like that, like if you're
No,
more
I
reliant,
most of them.
you know, your student loans or whatever, and you're more reliant on the state, you're not doing your own thing.
Yeah, well, you're
Then-
creating a codependency, aren't you?
Exactly, and they've
You're
got
not
that sort of
independent
grip
your
on you
thinking.
then.
Yeah.
You know, so you've got to listen to policies, you've got to listen to the government. Who do I vote for? When I'm going to get better interest rates on my loans, I go to the government and all this. Like, they've got you in their little
course they
fucking net there,
Of course
don't they?
they have, yeah,
Whereas if you do your own thing and you just, I don't fucking give a shit. You know, what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'll pay my business tax, I'll pay whatever. I'm doing my own thing. I don't give a fucking shit.
You're not a
about you.
citizen. You're not really a citizen. That birth certificate's bollocks anyway, because that's just, you're a slave to them. They want that birth certificate. You know what that birth certificate's there for, don't you?
If you don't have a birth certificate, you can't get a bank account, you don't exist. Fuck off. Fuck off.
You're not a citizen. You're a human being.
Yeah, exactly.
So there you are.
But yeah, no, you can't really look at it like that anyway, can you? Because then, when you're citizens, you're a citizen in this country, and then this is going to sound very abnormal coming from me, but when you're like a citizen, you're a citizen of that country, and it divides you.
Of course it does.
And then you got refugees, you got all these people. They're just
Of course
humans,
it does.
aren't they? You know what I mean?
Well, they
Regardless of the
clever.
politics behind it, and whether we're going to let people into the country or not, I don't care. But like, people are just human beings.
Yeah, it's just a system, like
and
we
they
say.
try-
It's all
they
about
try and divide
controlling,
it, yeah.
isn't it? Yeah, controlling. Yeah. Very much
Well, they
so.
don't look at us as human beings either, do they? Really?
Human
Where-
beings.
Well, we're not,
Human
the
beings.
says
thing
beings
is,
in a
we're more than just our bodies and
Well,
our
no, we're
minds.
just numbers. We're just fucking
Well,
numbers.
to them we are, but we know better than that.
Yeah, but
Conscious-
it's irrelevant what we
conscious
fucking know and
beings.
think. You know what I mean? Look
Yeah.
at us right now. Can't even go out of the fucking house without going to a
Well,
public
she didn't
toilet.
give a shit. This shit tier 3. She's fucking on a train with no mask. Hey!
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though, like...
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, but I think the amount you can complain as much as you want about all of this. We ain't got a fucking choice. This is why I don't say anything. I'm not bothered. 10
Yeah.
PM, work in a bar, close
True.
at 10 PM. Fucking fine with me.
But I do think the control that they have over you is like how they can get into your head mentally. So if you don't give a shit about like COVID and that, physically they've got the control of making you, you know, making it so you can't stay in a bar after 10 and all these little things. But deep down, if they can't scare you and you see through the bullshit, they have nothing over you.
Well,
Because
the numbers of that and then
creates,
normal
like you
people
say,
is
fear creates
uncomparable.
compliance, doesn't it?
I do think a lot of people just don't give a shit though, especially in our age group.
It's getting to that point now.
It's
but
these
still,
fat diabetic men on fucking Facebook who are like, oh, I need fucking 80,000 face masks. You know what I mean? We all know who I'm talking about. Don't say his name. We all know who I'm talking. She sends me posts all the time. She thinks she's shit. But yeah, no, just fuck that. Like, that's how they've got you. When they scare you, they've got you.
Yeah,
Done. You're done then.
this virus
If you
comes
are,
out after 10 o'clock at night.
It's
And I'll tell you
fucking-
another thing about this
it's
virus.
so fucked.
This virus, when you take your mask down and you have a drink and a bite to eat, don't go near you. Don't like food. Don't
Yeah,
like
the
drink.
players
It is
are now on the
hilarious,
players.
though, innit?
You know
It
what,
is
right?
hilarious.
It loves bars after 10 o'clock. It loves restaurants when you when you stood up. When you sat down, it'll leave
Mad
you
in it,
alone.
like,
Literally, when you
when
say
you-
that,
when you explain
bullshit.
it, when you
Bullshit.
explain
So
it
that's
like a retard,
Yeah.
it makes more sense than
Yeah.
Because it is
actually
retarded.
talking normal.
That is
That's
the
how
only way
you've
to
got to
tackle
talk.
it. That is the only
That's
way
how
to
we
tackle it. Be
understand.
stupid.
Exactly.
But yeah, this is the thing as well. Like
No disrespect to people, by the way. Saying
No,
that,
fucking disrespect. You're a spastic.
Yeah, yeah.
You are a
disrespect to them.
retard.
Who cares? I mean,
You said it
no.
straight
To
away,
be fair,
Colin.
no. Let me stop us because this is what they do. They divide us. So we're thinking, you know what? You're a retard for thinking this, but they're not. They're just fucking people who've been blindsided by
Of course
fucking
they are,
fear.
Of course they are. We're
You know
all
what
in
I
it.
mean?
So
We're all in it.
retard.
Hey,
Yeah, but
we're all in it together. I bet they never thought we'd all fucking wake up together, did they?
Yeah, they're just.
A lot of people have woke up, they just don't want to admit it because they're frightened of what other people think. They're frightened of the reputation, about losing
Yeah,
the
no,
jobs,
like
what
you-
the boss will think, what the friends will think,
you-
what
you-
the family
you-
will think. Who cares?
you post a lot of shit, don't you, on Facebook, and then you got people at work saying, "Oh, I agree with that, but I can't fucking, I can't post it myself because people think I don't know."
Of course, yeah.
Whereas I do think you're a nutter sometimes when I look at you.
Yeah, we'll send it. We'll send
Hey,
each
when I
other.
when I look at my timeline sometimes, I think I'm a fucking nutter.
We'll send each other like pictures of you just sharing something, or we'll just tag each other in one of your posts and be
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, she's at it again."
I've got better
She's
things to
put
do
the
in my
fucking
life.
tinfoil on. Just lost her marbles.
Yeah.
Some of the shit that you've shared is ridiculous, like the 5G thing. I want to know what you think about that because I don't even know what it is, to be fair.
All right then.
I actually don't have a clue what it is.
Biotechnology. The Chinese have created it.
Right, is this? Do you know this is true?
I do know it's true
How?
because they've been rolling out 5G for I don't know maybe 18 months now.
Is that why you know it's true? Why do you know that it's true? Not about 5G. Why do you know that?
Oh,
it's
why
true?
do I know? I've actually seen the 5G towers physically. That's how
Oh
I know.
right, so
I've seen the tower.
seeing
It's
a
real.
tower, seeing a tower. How does that equate to this is dangerous? This is doing this to us because there's a tower there.
Because I've actually read up, and it's actually well documented. This piece of information that I've read up, that 5G actually emit radiation.
Where did you read this?
Radiation frequencies.
Where did you read it?
I read it it was like a thing on the science medical. What was it? Science of
But you've just read.
radioactive
You've just
frequencies.
read what someone with your mindset as well has just typed up. So, what I'm going to say to you, and the challenge I'm going to fucking give over to you, is how do you intend on convincing someone of this? And that is what you try to do.
Right,
That, listen. How are you intending on genuinely convincing someone who's not open to the idea that 5G is there to kill us? And I'm not going to say my stance on it, but how are you going to convince someone without any pure
convince us.
evidence? Without any, because what you're saying here
Be
is
yourself, solely.
I've read this and I've read that. And
All right, okay.
on this
I'll
site,
I'll tell you
that
something.
means fuck all to me.
I'll
and
tell
that
you
means
my
fuck all
personal
to.
experience on 5G
Okay,
now, shall I?
okay,
Right.
yeah.
Go on.
Where I live, it's quite a dense town, so it's quite a small town with a lot of people in it. Yeah. And I live near high-rise flats, as you well know. And on these high-rise flats, you've got these 5G towers, and you've seen pictures of them. You know what they look like, these long things with panels
They are 5G
pointing
towers.
out everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So they're the signals and what have you. But you've not just got them where I live, within half a mile radius of where I live, where my mum lives. You've got a big mill. It's been there since we were kids, and on the top of that mill is a mobile mast and 5G. Now, I'll go back. I lost my sister at 26, Alian. How long is 15 years ago?
2006.
Yeah. Just when she passed away of a brain hemorrhage. But round that area, people were getting getting neurological problems. Now, this is supposed to have some connection with it. The mobile phone mast. A lot of people were petitioning to get
Context,
them sent
she
down.
lived with my nan.
That's why I was convinced about the 5G, because I'm going back 15 years ago, and this woman, who very, very clever woman and all, she knew all about radiation and stuff
Who they
like
are?
that. No, a friend of my mum,
Oh, right,
who was
okay.
petitioning for this mobile phone mast to be taken down because it was causing all these neurological problems,
Okay.
brain and respiratory problems and that. Yeah, so it stemmed from there. So that's why I got into it. I thought, well, why are people saying about 5G? And I remember this mobile phone mast. And it was in the media about
But
it
this,
as well.
this is a mobile phone, Max.
what?
Why? We're talking about 5G, so let's get back to the present time.
Okay, 5G.
What
it operates
you've
at
got?
a more intense frequency.
Right. But what I'm asking, this is
more
just
radiation coming out of it.
Let's talk.
yeah. But to someone watching, right? what you're saying, if they're not already on that brainwave that you're on, and they don't already agree with you, and it's not already an echo chamber for them, what they're watching is just someone waffle.
Right.
Because to them, but to them,
yeah,
if you're not providing evidence, if they don't already believe it, they're not.
Right, well, can I get back to that point because I got a bit distracted.
Go on.
Right, so you've got these. I've told you, you've got these 5G towers where I live on the flats, and then you've got these 5G towers about half a mile away from where I live. And when this, I don't know what it is. A lot of people have experienced sensitivity in their eyes, and it's not when you're right next to these towers. Don't forget they're about, I don't know how many feet up them flats
12 floors up.
12 floors up, yeah. So they're not going to really affect me in that range, but I've noticed when I walk, say, 5 minutes away from them, so from where I live to where the courts are, you've got, I don't know, it's like a beam thing, and when I'm walking, I've noticed this and I'm not just saying it because...
No, I know, you've told me.
It might even be coincidental, but they've been up since early part of this year anyway.
Yeah.
I remember before we went in lockdown, when this was quite new, this Wuhan thing, and the workmen had scaffoldings up at the flats, but they were putting them, because you said, didn't you, that, them tower, I've just noticed them a few months ago, didn't you? Yeah. But, and then since then, my eyes have been smarting when I walk from the courtyards, and I've noticed it. It's a little bit like I've got sensitive eyes, but I've noticed a lot of people coming out and saying their eyes, that they have to wear sunglasses, and what's this sensitivity in
the sun as well.
Yeah. What does
and
that
it's just
tell
in that
you?
one space.
Is that the magnetic fields that are changing because of all these things that are up in the air? Do you know what I mean? You've got your bloody chemtrails that have been going on for how many years? You know, they've been toxic to us.
You can't see it.
That's why I'm saying a biotechnology, China, 5G, yeah.
So
and they're using 5G to roll out the algorithm of artificial intelligence.
So you're like the evidence is your personal experience.
Yes.
To you.
Yeah.
So it's how
because when I get in a radius of where these towers are, I've not properly measured it, but I've kind of
got a big fucking tape measure. Why?
Yeah.
Wheels.
Well, I've done an estimated calculation of where I am to where them towers
you just
are.
scout it out, yeah.
And then I noticed when I'm in a different area, my eyes aren't bad now, and still got that same sort of. I kept thinking it must be the sun, the low sun, doing something to my eyes.
Could that be your mind playing games on you? Just because you're actually
thinking,
focusing
right,
on that.
Well,
I'm that way away now.
Well, let me tell you something else. Fair point.
But if you'd have never seen them towers, would you ever have thought like, oh, my eyes are...
Maybe not. You've probably got a fair point, but I'll tell you something else.
When I come out of work... I'm not saying I don't believe you, by the way.
Right, but when I told you where the other towers are...
Yeah.
Don't give them a big... geographical fucking location of everywhere you go, by the way.
But what I'm saying is, well, the location of where the other towers are, where I was saying half a mile from where I live, is where I work there. I come out of work and you've got a long road, you've got two parts of a road, a main road, then another road, then you've got the mill. And as soon as I walk down that street, where that mill is, towards my mum's, I'm in the same, I've tried to calculate, I'm in the same distance as I am from where I live and the courts are.
And then your eyes
start watering again and going sensitive.
So when you say that...
I get headaches with it.
So when you say that makes it more like, okay.
Well, and I worked, at the time, I wasn't thinking all the towers, and it's just happened a few times when I've been going to my mum's and I thought, bloody hell, I didn't see them up before.
And
there was a mobile phone mast, but they've only just been put up.
Because you didn't see the 5G towers when you
I haven't seen any, mate.
Exactly.
I haven't seen any.
So if anybody...
They are in Ashton, you can see
and
them all over.
And just, by the way, incidentally speaking, it'll be interesting if you get anybody in the comments section saying anything about this.
Saying their eyes water.
Yeah. If it creates awareness, of something.
So that in turn would be the evidence. That would be what would make you think, okay. Because so when it was all happening, when Corona first happened, like lockdown and everything, and people were like knocking down towers. Remember that? And people knocking down and setting fire to 5G towers. I made a video and I would take the piss out of it. You know what I mean? I would probably take the piss out of it just because personally I don't invest too much energy into it, into the truth or the whatever. And I wasn't looking at it and thinking, oh, these people are batshit crazy. I was looking at it and thinking, that's funny. Middle-aged women trying to drag down towers. Middle-aged women who work as cleaners trying to fucking set fire to fucking metal. Trying to set fire to Vodafone's property.
Yeah.
That was funny. So that was funny.
Do you ever remember, right as this lockdown was happening, just before it, there was a woman and she got loads of views. She went worldwide on the internet, on Facebook, and she was a nurse, and she was doing like a podcast, and I think it was a radio show, and she actually said, look, this information that I'm telling you now, these 5G towers, they act like a microwave, the amount of radiation they bring out, and apparently what she was saying was they'll cover it up and they'll tell you that it's something else, some other disease, virus, and coincidentally the 5G symptoms are the same as what the virus symptoms are. Respiratory infection, the same flu-like symptoms. This is what we're convincing about it.
I'm going to quickly, I know I've been talking a lot, but I'm going to quickly say two things. One thing that's going to give credit to what you're saying, and another thing that might dismiss it a little bit. The first thing that's going to give credit to what you're saying, my lungs, since the start of lockdown, have never been so. And you could say, oh, I had coronavirus, but that's a virus that lasts for 10 days, right?
It's never even been isolated, so that
my lungs, since these 5G towers went up at the start of lockdown, and you could say I just got coronavirus. I didn't know I was just a carrier, and it scarred my lungs. Yeah. So that's one I can. But my lungs have never been the same. I used to be asthmatic when I was younger, and my lungs got a lot better. I didn't need an inhaler for about 5 years, and when they started, I had to buy a new inhaler. I had to use it almost every day because I just sometimes randomly I just couldn't breathe for no reason.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I'm sort of getting over it now a bit.
You're still coughing though. I can always say you cough.
Exactly. My lungs haven't been the same since this year.
Well, it goes through your smart stuff, doesn't it? All this.
I had a really bad cough for about 2 months though as well, and I'm never poorly. Ever. Like.
And they're advertising these things that you can put over to stop the.
The one other thing I'll tell you that might dismiss it a bit, which some people, I can hear people saying it in the comments already. Yeah. Some people who don't, obviously. Whatever, have a different opinion to you. Yeah. Your Wi-Fi router emits the same waves that a 5G tower emits, allegedly. Right. You have Wi-Fi in your house. What's the difference? Why is that okay? Why is 5G killing you?
Well, I'm presuming with the knowledge and the experiences that I'm having, is that router is probably just as harmful being in my front room.
So why is it still in your house?
Why is that not making your eyes smart?
What I do,
your eyes not smart when you're in
I turn it off. I don't use it as much now since you've moved out. I told you I'm on the lower tariff now on what I pay. So I only use it for watching smart TV or if I need it on my phone to sit. And I don't have to save mobile data because, like you said, I was frightened when I got that phone. Oh, I'm using all my data up, but it never runs out, Brad. So I might as well not have Wi-Fi.
So if we're assuming that it's the same sort of waves, and most households have a Wi-Fi router now in 2020 in the UK.
Oh, fucking every house does. No,
90%. Why are we just focusing on 5G? This is surely frying us as well. So
of course.
So why don't we get rid of every electrical appliance we've ever had and become Mormons and have farms? Well,
the thing is,
that's the only way around it.
We've moved too fast with technology.
That seems like the only way around it though, to just become isolated.
Well, actually, there's another way around it because there are things, safeguards that you can put over your Wi-Fi. That's what I was just going to say before. You can put them over your Wi-Fi router, and they're supposed to stop the too many of
Do you have one?
Could you imagine buying
I do
one?
want to get one.
Do you have one?
I don't have one.
So you're obviously not that worried about it.
No, because I've not been having it on as much. Very rarely have it on.
You still put it on?
If it's
I
if
turn
it's
it off
that
at
bad,
night,
if it's as bad as
and I turn it off in the day when I go to work.
right when you're
But
not in the house, so it wouldn't matter anyway.
But when I come in at night, like I said, I don't hardly watch TV.
So
very rarely.
it surely
You still put it on.
it surely isn't what I'm reading from it. Correct me if I'm wrong. The waves from the Wi-Fi router aren't bothering you, which is in your house next to where you sit, aren't bothering you as much as this tower is.
That's 12
that's less on your mind than this is.
Because maybe you're probably right. Because at the end of the day, that's just like a conduit, isn't
And
it?
this
That
is where
big tower's emitting more than what that bloody thing is in my house, isn't
How
it?
do you know?
Well, I'm just going off the size of it. Maybe maybe that's more. It is more damaging. Because
I think it's a weird one with that because you can't see what it's emitting. Do you know what I mean? You look at that tower, and if you had some sort of camera which could see what is coming off of that tower, then you'd probably be fucking shocked. But you can't see
even
anything.
if you are,
well, you get a reader. What it is, right? I'll tell you how I've got into this as well. Because
a radiation.
there's a woman who I know who she don't live far from here actually. She lives somewhere in Yorkshire, Bradford, and she lives on a boat. And she's got one of
Reliable
these.
source.
She's got one of these.
A woman in Bradford who lives on a boat.
No, she's got one of these.
A city that is nowhere near a beach.
You know
So she lives in a boat.
she lives on a boat,
Lives on a boat in a field.
Yeah. Well,
so she's already nuts.
she's got a frequency.
Of course she does.
She's got one of these. What do you call them? These readers.
Nuclear reactor reader
Yeah.
in Bradford.
Whatever. But it does.
Nowhere
read,
near a power station.
It reads what it emits and that, and she's actually showing it. When she's been.
Just be all the fucking curry houses emitting fucking shit out the chimneys.
Oh.
That she's fucking picking up on in Bradford.
But yeah, it was going up and down in certain places, and where
Right.
she was in the area.
Yeah, well, do you know, but we live on a planet.
Well, what they're saying,
Look at the size of the planet.
if it reads over a certain number, it's supposed to be dangerous, toxic to your body.
Yeah, but think about all the cars that are driving
Of
around.
course,
do you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah,
Well,
so
but then multiply that by
unless you are in a field, fucking miles away from anything,
Hey, you've got a point
This is
there.
what I
Connor,
meant.
'cause I'll tell you
and then
why,
you put
yeah.
a tower there,
Yeah.
and then see,
Why do you
then fair.
look at Cornwall and places like
So
that?
this
Why do you
is-
think that the cases are down?
this is why my attitude to it is like you can't just centre yourself on one thing like the 5G towers and then go, oh right, but that fucking bus there blowing fucking fumes into my face, that's not damaging me. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with all these other damaging things that we're very aware of are damaging.
What I'm saying
Well,
about
that's a
well,
problem.
I'll tell you another thing.
So I'm going to invest energy into
All right.
that. You know what I mean?
It's not just about saying 5G's doing this and that's not already caused damage. What I'm saying is 5G is like a primer. So it'll predispose you. I'm not just saying that I'm focusing on that and other things, but this 5G is it's there to kind of break down the immune system, basically. These magnetic frequencies and radioactive frequencies are there to break down the immune system, so people, not just the comorbidities and the frail and the elderly, but a lot of people will be susceptible. That's why they'll say second wave, third wave, fourth wave. They'll justify it. And at the same time, these waves are killing people. They might not kill you in the street like they showed you in China and all that straight away, but they are predisposing you for things in the future. Things are moving fast now.
Can we move away from 5G now and just talk on a general sense of
Of course you
like
can.
the conspiracies of and what you believe in all this?
Yeah, can I go to the toilet? Because I am of that age and I can't just sit here.
Of course
no
you can. We'll be right back.
protection.
Welcome back, Thomas.
Welcome
better.
back, John.
Feel the stone lighter now.
Come back, Adam. With your cock.
Oh my god.
Big cock, Adam. Anyway.
Sorry? Have we missed something?
It's not about a girl, but isn't a girl.
3, 2, 1. Did you have a nice piss?
It's a bit personal. Well,
You-
I feel about half a stone
Right.
lighter anyway.
Brilliant. moving away from 5G for a second.
Oh, thank God for that.
Can I ask you a question, which sort of like, I'm not asking because I would ask the question anyway. But what I'm going to ask you now is based on like your intent and your personal intent. Why did I do that first of all? And why?
If you cross your leg.
Why are you? Why are you so? Why are you so intent? Why are you so intent on convincing people of this? Of like what you want to convince? What? So when it comes to conspiracy theories and stuff like this, I am even though I've been challenging her in this episode, and to some people it'll be like, oh, Brad's just fucking taking it, Brad don't fucking believe it. There's a lot of things I do genuinely believe, and a lot of far out things I believe, especially regarding all this that's going on. A lot of far out things that I believe that I can get into today or whenever. But when it just comes to the sake of a flowing conversation, like actually going deep on it, why? What incentive do you have to like post on Facebook all the time about it and obsess over it? Because this is where I feel, on a personal basis, people go wrong when it comes to conspiracies. So the way I look at something is I believe something, but I won't obsess over it, and it doesn't have any control over my life.
It doesn't seem to convince people because you think, well, why are they obsessing? It's a bit too much. That's a bit over the top.
Exactly,
yeah.
but I'm not even trying to convince people. So that's not why I'm not obsessed, because I don't let something like that rule me. Whereas I think with you, and you might disagree with me, but I personally think with you, on some level, you are going to a point with like these conspiracies where it's all you're thinking about, you're obsessing over it, and it's something that you sort of letting rule you subconsciously, because you're trying to expose all this shit, and you're trying to do all this, and you're trying to have this sort of level of social justice in the sense of, fucking...
You've answered the question.
You know what I mean? Fucking getting out these conspiracies.
Yeah.
Why can you, on a personal level, not just read these things and go, yeah, I believe that, yeah, I believe that, yeah, I believe that, I don't believe that. That's how I think it is, and then not try and convince everyone else of it. Why can you just not sit there and think, well, that's what's going on in the world anyway, I'm now going to put my energy into something useful, into meditating, into doing this, into doing that.
Fair point.
Why do you feel the need to make everyone think the same as you?
I don't think it's about wanting people to think the same as me, because I do accept that people are not the same as me.
Yeah, I don't think she does that. Is that what you're saying?
I think it's
I
more
think she does.
about...
I don't think that.
I think she does.
I think you believe what you believe, but you...
I believe what I believe.
No,
You've tried to explain it to us,
she sends it to everyone though. She
not
wants,
necessarily.
You right.
I send them to you.
Maybe I worded it wrong. You send it to him as well. You send it to Josh. You send it to a lot of people.
Yeah, a few things, not all the time.
Maybe I worded it wrong.
Yeah.
Why do your intentions seem to lie on getting the awareness out? And I think I've answered my own question, but you're trying to make people aware.
Yeah.
Not that you're trying to force people into believing what you believe.
Yeah.
But why are you so intent on like showing people videos and showing people this, showing people that? Why can you not just look at what you're looking at?
This thing,
and keep it to yourself?
Brad, is happening faster than we've actually going to believe it's happening.
Well, how do you know that?
No, and not just that. Why does it matter? Why does it matter?
Hold on.
If we believe it.
Because
how do you know that?
I'm watching stuff materialise now. You might not see it, but I can see what I read back in March. And what I thought back then, hang on a minute. No, that won't come to that. Like we all thought, 3 weeks, curve will flatten, I'll go back to normal again.
Yeah, fair.
So, I read things back in March, and I seen some evidence about things, like in China and stuff like that, that's happening now here, definitely in Australia. In Canada, they built intermittent camps already, isolation camps. And that's not just so that you can go in for a week or whatever they say, 2 weeks for this to claim itself. You could be in there like a prisoner.
But what I'm asking is, why do you feel the need to get the word out? Is it because you think...
That's simply what I'm saying, Brad.
Because of people's safety?
Yeah, exactly.
You want more people to be aware
because I think this fear is the virus, and this fear, eventually, people, like you're seeing it now, mental health, suicides, everything's up. people are saying enough is enough. And you'll get some people like them who just obey the law, you know, and they always have done. They've done things as the status quo has always said they'll do things because they're conditioned to do it. Just say, do you know what? We'll accept it. Just stop going on about it now. We'll accept it. If you're going to give us a vaccine, give us a vaccine, which again is a poison. You know, and it's all about depopulating people.
Yeah,
and
agree
I
with that
think
vaccine
I've got a
thing.
human right as a human being, and as we're a collective consciousness, to make people aware. Not just to say, well, I think it, I'm right, you're wrong. It's not about politics now. This thing's been politicised. It's about me as a human being having human freedoms that should not be infringed on by any government or any person in authority, because that is my human private body, yeah? And it's getting draconian now, that's what I'm saying. And that's why I say it's moving faster and faster. And what I read back in March, I can actually see happening now, and I was called a conspiracy theorist. And yeah, maybe everything wasn't right, what I read. Maybe it was a little bit far-fetched. I get that, and I don't want to believe some of the things that I have read. Jesus Christ, I'm hoping that they don't come true, because my God, we're going to be in big, big trouble. And I'm not just saying this just to scare people, because you know me, Brad, I like positive stuff. And I've distracted myself with
This is
spirituality.
why it worries me, though. This is why it worries me, because I feel like this is my point. This is what I'm actually trying to get deep into.
Yeah.
Is you as a person, as much as you think you have the power to change through awareness,
Yeah.
I can tell you as someone who has an audience across platforms of over 300,000 people, and someone who could make a video right now and maybe get into searches and maybe make a load of people aware of something through my job, through my medium. I can tell you that just because you think something, it's not necessarily gonna just go into someone, because people are not that what's the word I'm looking for? People are not that open to accepting new ideas as you make them are. So what is the purpose of letting yourself fall down a rabbit hole of becoming quite obsessed with, oh, this is going to happen, I need to let people be aware?
Because it's something I'm interested in, and I don't care what anybody else thinks.
Fair.
Yeah, I don't slight you for that, but with me, from seeing how you got with it, I feel like it's impacted your personality. I feel like it's changed you as a person.
Yeah, probably for the
better.
better.
But this isn't me trying to dismiss the points you're making.
Yeah.
What my sort of,
From your perspective.
what from my perspective, what my challenge to what you're saying is and how you're acting is, I sort of see you being too, and I say too involved because of the fact that I think it's having an impact on you, and an impact on you being like quite paranoid of everything. So what I'm really trying to ask you, and we've had this
I'm not
conversation
worried about
private,
anything.
yeah, but what I'm really trying to like,
You're being obsessed with everything.
what I'm trying to ask you is, you know how I believe a lot of the things you believe, and I agree with most of the things you actually have said today.
Yeah.
But I carry on doing my life, and
Yeah,
I don't obsess over it, and I'm quite happy.
Yeah.
I'm admittedly quite a happy person,
Yeah.
and I just do my own thing.
Yeah.
Why would you? I mean, you've already answered it really, but like, would you not think that would be a better way to go about it for yourself, just for your own like mental health?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely, you're right. Spot on, because don't think there's times when I sit there and I think, I could let this really damage me if I got too involved and I got too worried. I actually can let it go, because don't forget, you live here now and I live where I live, and I do a lot of meditation. That helps me to get rid of the outside noise, and it helps me to connect to a deeper level of consciousness. Let's say I go, it's like a projection, an astral projection for me, and I can go into my own little stillness.
I cannot understand that, me. Meditation. I just cannot understand it.
It just slows the chattering mind.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Down.
Like,
You
I just feel like even if I tried it, I'd just be like, what the fuck am I doing?
Well, Connor, say for
Do you know what I
instance
mean?
you've got a clock ticking in the background, and you do your breathing first, and then you're not unaware of external noises. You're just concentrating on them, and then it's like an hypnotic state. but it slows the mind chatter down, and it's really good for the mental health. I think they should have taught this in schools.
Because your mind
just sounds weird.
Because your mind is going a mile a minute, innit? And even with that,
we overthink things, don't we?
You're overthinking meditation. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what. So that's the irony. That's what meditation's supposed to.
Do you know what meditation means? It means being familiar. Just being familiar.
Being familiar with yourself and just concentrate on your breathing and that.
Yeah.
And that's and I think actually I do agree that meditation is helpful. I don't personally do it too much.
But I enjoy doing it.
But I think
you've done it though.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just weird.
I think. No, well, this is the thing. You're overthinking it. This is why I probably benefit you, because the thing is with shit like that, it calms down all this overthinking that you're now doing, and I think a lot of people just need a break from their own constant. Sorry, excuse me. They need a break from their own constant fucking thoughts. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And also, I go to the gym, release any negative stuff. I think that's brilliant for the mental health.
Yeah.
And I also watch motivational people, philosophers like Eckhart Tolle, Esther Hicks, aka Abraham Hicks, The Law of Attraction, which is absolutely brilliant. And I did get a little bit distracted with all this, obviously, and a lot distracted. But the good thing is, I always go back to that and I watch it, and it's like when you've got something and you learn it, you'll never go back to that old person you used to be. It's a personal growth and an awakening, I call it. And that's how I keep myself intact.
Right. But there were some points where you were a bit nuts. Where we I mean more him more than me, but like
I can see where you're coming from.
The last time we was actually at yours, I think just before we moved out, I was just like, your mum is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Because you were just going nuts.
This is what I mean about getting too involved with it.
But I think you're a lot better. Not a lot better. It makes it sound like you were disabled or something. But like,
I know what you mean.
You were so
like a cabbage head.
I think you took in so much information at once, because you took in things that I used to tell you years ago, like about the Illuminati, about satanic rituals. You took in all this shit at once.
But do you know what it was?
It just stayed there, I think.
It was something I always knew. And I read it about 18 years ago. And I read all sorts of things, and it was just using different terminology, but it all translates to the same thing about New World Order and control and that. And I kept thinking, you can go as far out as extraterrestrial, and I'm not ruling that out, because hybrids and all that, it's all making sense. Yeah. But say this David Icke person, for example, the media really did give him some shit, but I find him an inspiration, because that guy, more than any, reputable YouTuber, has gone through so much shite, and he's still standing. And you know what inspires me about him is because he knows all about conscious being, and he knows that even though it might look like he's getting a lot of shit and it must be breaking him down, he knows at the end of the day, and I can relate to him, that we're not just our bodies, we're consciousness. It's just having a human experience, and we're all part of a collective thing, and we do affect ourselves and we do affect other people, and we can't make people think things and do things. I get that, and it's each to their own, and everybody will have their own awakening, whether it's through being very depressed, and that's a massive big thing, because depression, you get to the lowest, and I remember Eckhart using a phrase once, saying, I've had enough of myself, I being the consciousness, myself being the concept. And then he said, I must be two different personalities then. But really, I'm just the I, but I'm using the personality as...
And then he thought...
I am fucking...
And then he thought...
My head has just been mashed.
And then he thought...
I'm so confused.
Who's the person who's recognising that I'm two
that's
people?
Right, I'm the awareness.
And that's when you sort of reach your consciousness. Because when you think about the fact you're thinking, you think... If you can come out of it and think, and think who's doing the thinking. That's when you become a lot more conscious because you recognise
So basically,
you're more of a being than a person.
Of course it is.
You know what I mean? You're
what
more than what your mind is
Yeah.
because you're thinking about who's thinking.
That's right.
You know what
You're
I mean?
the awareness.
Sounds a little bit schizophrenic on the surface.
They look at it like
But-
be aware of your thoughts, and even if you've
What
got
the
an
fuck,
ego,
yeah.
you've got your ego self, your self concept, and you've got your awareness, you've got your consciousness, whatever you want to call it, source energy. Your energy, we're all energy, aren't we? And it's showing that we're not just this body. We're more than that. You know, we don't just come here and we do a 9-to-5 job and we do a routine thing in life. You know, we're more than that. And people don't realise how powerful they are because they're conditioned to the systems. They've been like MK Ultra. You've heard of mind control.
Yeah, now you're sounding fucking nuts, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I agree though, it's kind of scaring me.
Well, this is what the school systems were set in place for. You know, it's like
We just live in a life where we have no
Follow the
idea
sheep.
what's going on. That's what I think. That's the bottom line for me is we literally are living a life, and even before this was happening, we just have no idea what is said in all these big high up things.
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't have a clue what's going on.
No.
You know what I mean? We don't know.
We only know ourselves, and we
don't know where the first person came from. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that really is interesting to me. Who was the first person on the planet? How do we know that's true? What?
Yeah,
How?
yeah. But
Shit like that, I really like.
I just believe it's like all these religions. You know, they say there's a higher something, and I don't believe it. I do not believe that it's outside of us. There's a God outside of us.
That's what I'm
Any
saying. We are our
religion,
own
Mohammed,
How,
of anything.
how do you bring yourself
We are
to
our
believe
own
that there is a God?
we are in our own. We're God in our own creation.
Right, we are the god of ourselves, aren't we? Realistically, when you think about it.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I think
because you create your own reality. That's why I like the law of attraction. Like attracts like. You can be thinking of somebody, and all of a sudden they'll ring you up. I think it's a universal energetic field.
It's just energy, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying about magnetic attractions and that. Yeah, it's interesting. I love it, and it makes sense to me. It resonates with me.
See,
I've had deja vu about 3 times this episode as well, you know.
Yeah.
Like really bad, like just with you though. Literally sat there like
Wow.
this.
Yeah.
I don't said anything because you've been in the zone, but
Yeah.
like that. What the fuck is that?
see, the thing is as well.
Why has this conversation happened before in my head?
Well, they all say that with our destiny's already mapped out for us, don't they? You know, there's that saying, isn't there?
See, the thing is, it's mad watching you take
They
it
even
in
say,
as
do you know
well,
what
'cause
else they even say? Can I just say something? Sorry.
Wow, you're already, so
Yeah.
I guess so.
They even say we choose our parents before we're born.
Fantastic. Anyway,
So there you are, Brad. How lucky were you?
Wayne,
Well,
fucking Northwest renowned coke dealer. You.
well, it's your fault.
Yeah, my dad. Yeah, but it fits perfect to you. You love the fact that your dad is your dad. What he does, you do. I know you do.
It's
his power. It's his power. But you're a power hungry man as well.
Yeah.
And so is he.
But maybe that's how far. Maybe that's just how.
And then you've got your mum, who is just
Nuts.
no. Your mum is fucking retarded. No, you've got your mum.
Well, that's even better.
But
That
look
sounds better. That.
look at the way that you connect with your mum.
Yeah.
So you got your dad's, which brings out the side of you which I know quite well, and then you've got her, which brings out the side which no one really knows you for, unless you're like me and you're closest, like the closest people.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm alright, because it's the same with my dad.
Yeah, we're a mixture, aren't we? Yeah.
Do
you know what I always say, Connor, as well?
I need a pint.
We're a mirror of each other. You know, projections. We're a mirror.
See,
So
and
what
this
I
is-
see in me, I can see in you. That's why I've got a lot of empathy.
What I
Other
like
people.
about this conversation is this is you. This is what you used to like, and this is why I said the points I was
This
saying
is me
before.
being
I wasn't-
real.
Yeah, that's what I mean, and that's your element. That's where you're in your element. Actually, with like you're speaking like a very conscious person, like a very calm, conscious person.
Yeah.
Whereas when you dive into and like I said, just to reiterate, I believe a lot of what you believe. I'm not dismissing it. 'Cause
No,
I agree with
I
it.
understand. Yeah.
But when you dive too deep into it, I feel like
Go off
you
the rails a bit.
personally, and I feel like people in general, when you dive too deep into it. When you watch these like channels that are dedicated to just conspiracies, you
Yeah.
lose track of yourself because you get too
Because it has
invested.
momentum to it, doesn't it?
You get too invested in this lie
Yeah.
you think you've been told,
Yeah, yeah.
and this lie you probably have been told, but you get too invested in it, and that might be another way how they get you, how they get people like
Yeah, it's a
you.
stage
They
show.
overload you with
Yeah.
information so that you can't handle it and you lose track of
Yeah,
yourself.
of course, confuse you.
The biggest threat to anyone who wants to control you is whether or not you're scared of them.
Yeah.
So if you can sort of look at something, take in the information, detach yourself from
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
and then think, actually, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I am now aware of that. That's good. That's new
Yeah.
information. I'm now aware.
Because I'm not
But
identifying
I'm
with
still
it.
my happy, conscious
Yeah,
self.
yeah.
I've still got my good energy.
Yeah.
And that is when they
can
lose
detach
complete
yourself.
control. That is when the fucking puppet strings snap.
Correct. And you know what? Can I just make another reference to that? That's why love conquers all. And I don't just mean love as in loving a child or loving your partner or whatever. I mean self-respect, self-love. I can't reiterate how important it is to actually have that, because fear promotes violence, doesn't it? You know, you get these protests, but you also get peaceful protests. But instead of calling it a protest, which is really, it's an act of resistance, isn't it? Really, you're resisting the fight, aren't you? Why don't you call it a pro-peace thing or a pro-love thing?
And I think when you're in that mindset of, you know, being scared of something or being angry with something, you're not in sort of the, you're not on the brain wave. You're not on the brain level to sort of.
You're not in love. You're not in your heart space, are
the
you?
biggest thing that separates people is a lack of understanding. You don't
Yeah.
understand where I'm coming from. I
Yeah,
don't
and
understand
that's
where
what
you're
people
coming
want,
from.
don't they?
I think this and you think that, but we're not going to communicate. Instead, we're going to try and change each other without any sort of communication. I think that is the biggest like dividing thing. I've worded that like a retard, but that is the biggest thing that divides us, is that lack of communication, that lack of understanding. And you're never going to get that when you're at odds with someone. You're never going to get that when you have a sort of hateful intent or resistance on negativity. It doesn't even have to be hateful. It could be like subconsciously you just resist this idea, or subconscious, and then you're never going to open yourself up to understanding that person.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why we're saying, oh, Shell's a bit fucking nuts.
That's
But
why
we're-
I'm about
but
the
we're-
conscious
but
field of
we're-
energy. You attract things what you think about. So if you're thinking about bad things, you're attracting bad things.
But
consciously or unconsciously.
But as well, if we say, you know, she sounded a bit nuts, that is us resisting your ideas.
Yeah, yeah.
And in a sense,
But I cannot
it
be
is
bothered
a lack
by
of
that.
it is a lack of understanding of where you're actually coming from in your mind and why you're so passionate about it. And maybe
From your perspective.
No. I'm just saying it. If we were to say, oh, Shell's a bit nuts, like we've said throughout this,
Yeah.
we said earlier, months ago, you were actually a bit manic.
Yeah.
But that again can, you know, just to point out my own hypocrisy, that again can sort of boil down to we've got a lack of understanding of you. You know what I mean? Like I've just been preaching, like
Yeah.
you know, it's all about understanding communication.
Yeah.
And this is where things like this are very useful.
Yeah.
Podcasts.
Of course they are, yeah.
Channels of
Yeah.
Podcast.
so something that makes you sit down and actually talk. For
Yeah.
us, it's a podcast. For other people, it might be just a fucking family dinner or whatever. For us, the communication comes from a podcast, and communicating is just how it's always going to be. It always has been how people reach an understanding. Communication.
Yeah, of course. And you know, you can
Imagine how many wars.
non-verbally communicate. as
Imagine
well.
how many wars would be avoided throughout history in the world
Of course.
if the leaders of the oppositions of each nation or whatever, each country, knew what the other person were thinking and knew their actual intentions and knew, right, okay, this person just wants to say something.
But what if
Don't
they
speak
do,
too
though?
soon, because I think that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah,
but
that's
through,
what
but through a
that's what
manipulation.
I'm
That's what I'm
thinking.
talking about. Algorithms and AI.
They'll all talk
Artificial
to each
intelligence.
other. They'll all talk to each other. They just will. Like I just refuse to believe that they'll never speak to each other. They're
but
the
what
world
the-
leaders.
What they want to do is. When I'm
It's all orchestrated.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We live.
It
We
is
live.
all
We don't have a
orchestrated.
clue what's going on. We're just living a lie. We
It's
think something.
orchestrated. And it's not even world leaders.
You just think they'll never speak to each other, but they will.
We see.
Well, you don't know that.
We see actors. I think. I don't think the
It's
prime
a
minister.
stage show.
I don't think the prime minister of the UK has real power. The prime minister of the UK is acting. The president of America is
He's acting.
acting. as powerful as Donald Trump might think of himself. It's higher up that we never see. The people who really do have the control and the power are far out of public view.
You've got the pyramid, and a pyramid, the 1% at the top, which is a
or the
0.001%,
and then the 1% of the people who think they're in power. He's probably a fucking tip above that.
Yeah. And then you've got that in the middle. You've got your Freemasons, your corporations under there, your CIA, and then you've got your governments, and then you've got your court of law, then you've got your bankers, and then you've got us, the 99% at the bottom.
Or even 99.9% people, but it probably is even a lot more minute than people even think.
And these people, you'll never, ever see them on social media at the top.
You'll never see them.
Ever. You'll never see them.
You'll never see them, but...
They'll literally just be
They
people
work
like,
through the
like
governments and that, don't they? They're doing pulling the strings for them, the puppets at the end of the day, that's what I'm saying. And everybody's saying, well, why did you vote this, and why did you vote for Brexit, and why did...
It makes no fucking difference.
It makes no sense.
It's so minute
It makes no sense
in comparison to the bigger thing.
I can't get it across
Labour,
to people
Tory, whatever it
sometimes.
fucking makes.
But that's what I'm saying. There's people around me, and I'm not mentioning any names, but I'm just saying that people will say, well, you voted him in, or why didn't you vote? And your vote might have counted.
A facade to make you think you've got any sort of...
But if you're watching that mainstream media and you're actually believing this thing, it's no wonder people are acting like they are. You know,
it's fucking terrifying.
It's mind control. It's programming. You know, you get it over the radio, subliminal messages. Wash your hands, space, face. That's going into your subconscious mind. You might not really be listening to it properly, but that's going in. It's like an hypnotic thing, isn't it? Really. You know, it's all around you. It's all around. Yeah, all right. And I do detach myself. I do meditate, and I'm glad I do it. Because I'd have gone probably over the edge. I can understand how it sends people over the edge. Yeah, of course. But that's what I'm saying. It's causing fear. Then they want to confuse you, so they'll divide you, and everybody's falling out of each other. And there's fights, and there's all this that's going on at the minute. You know, and that's a distraction. Again, terrorism. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. Dissing it and saying, oh. Lives are getting lost for it, but that is a distraction tool.
Yeah, it is, 100%.
Big distraction tool, what's going on in France and everywhere, and the 9/11 and everything else. Well, that was just a precursor for national security, that 9/11, wasn't it? You know, that was the start of all this, what's happened now. Go back to there and go to where we are now.
Make people scared. There's an enemy.
Of course there is.
There's an unknown enemy.
Yeah.
And it literally played out. It played out in front of people with the Iraq thing where they went in and they found nothing that they were saying.
Yeah, well, exactly.
And people literally saw that they had been manipulated. They had been fucking controlled through fear because and through emotion.
That's how they know they got them.
And people
we're like
felt
lab rats.
People in like America felt very passionate, rightly so, because they saw all these innocent people dying, jumping from a fucking building, and rightly so. And they thought, I'm gonna fucking join the fucking army. I'm gonna go kill the Taliban. I'm gonna get those. I'm gonna help get them weapons of mass destruction. And
war creates money.
What it actually turned into.
Follow the money.
What it actually turned out to be was just that was used to then create this sort of attitude to manipulate. Fear manipulates.
Divide people.
Fear control. Fear is control.
Yeah.
To make someone scared, you've got them, because just in general, if someone is scared, they are more susceptible to whatever you want to throw at them. They want to get out of that.
Pawns in their game. Pawns in the game of chess. Think about that.
So how did you feel about me doing YouTube anyway?
Oh, getting back to that, we did dive
No, we're not fucking getting back to that. We're fucking hour and a half in.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Finishing this off.
I never understood it. I didn't understand it. Remember, I used to say, what does this mean? When you were doing the adverts and the subscribers and...
Fucking Jesus.
It just went over my head, but I just thought,
it was a joke. We're not getting back into that.
We have already heard. You have actually told us about this already.
Yeah.
One last thing I want to talk to you about, just to end it on a note where I'm not draining people, where people aren't like all conspiracy minded.
I need to see your counselling supervisor after this.
Just to end it on a fucking lighter note, the day in the lives of my mum and like the videos that I promptly featured you. What was I going to ask? Like what have you actually genuinely thought about them? Have they been embarrassing? Is it something that you thought, oh yeah, fucking year 8 school children fucking recognise me on the bus, or is it something that you thought like, oh, that inflates my ego? Is it something that you've been like, this is a bit fucking weird?
But to be fair, before you answer, she wouldn't do it if she didn't want to do it.
Yeah, but what?
I mean, you make that sound. You actually make that sound as if you are forcing your mother to do these.
No,
things.
of course not. But I'm trying to get a genuine
You
answer
don't have
out
a
of her. Like,
choice. That's how that looks.
yeah. But no, of course not. But I'm trying to get a genuine answer out of her. Like after agreeing to do it and then seeing where they've gone, like videos you've been in. What's your thought process after that?
I really don't care.
You don't care.
I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, getting to that. Yeah, at first I was embarrassed, and I think, obviously, you know, I'm more self-aware of things now, and I don't care what people think as much as I used to do. I used to worry about, well, I'm coming. Remember, I used to be very self-conscious, and
that's just being a human. Like,
yeah, of course,
even when we first started this podcast.
But in the whole scope of things, I found it quite entertaining and quite funny.
Exactly.
And I'll tell you what else I found quite funny is the reaction from people, different reactions. Some are negative and some are positive, and the negatives I found really funny because people actually think. Because I mean, some of the times, and most of the times that you're doing these videos of me, we are actually not acting, are we?
No.
It's actually real life, isn't it? And but people all have their own opinion of it, and I've had people saying, "How can you let me speak to you like that?"
Yeah.
Or such a body who knows somebody who I know, will say, we didn't think you were like that, Shelley. People are quite shocked because I don't swear a lot, believe it or not, at work. You know, I've got many personalities.
Yeah,
I've all got different facets.
That's literally what I was
the same
about to
face.
say, like.
And I could be a different Shelley in front of different people. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
So
I'm the
people,
same. You're the same.
I mean, a lot of people have been in a lot of shock who've never even seen that, who had to see that now and think, God, you know. But that's me coming into my own, and I'm quite proud of that. I'm proud of him for doing it because I just think,
Yeah, it's class.
we should
like,
be able to be ourselves
the
and be
people who watch
genuine.
their videos don't actually know you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They don't.
And what I'm
Whereas
saying
when
is I used to worry about
watch
what
that
people
video,
thought.
that's just me.
Yeah.
I might as well be the one recording because it's just that's just normal for me.
But I
It's
can
like a
see
day in
the
life.
audience
Literally
it
a day in
pulls
the
in
life.
now, and you know, and a lot of people like my parents, especially my dad, when my dad was alive and he listened to Brad for the first few times and he said, "Oh, I don't like that swearing," but that's only because he was brought up in a family that nobody swore, nobody spoke about the secrets to each other, you know, and that was his family. Whereas my family were quite open, and my nan always swore; it was second nature, and we had that blessing really that we could be who we wanted to be. You know what I mean? So we had one side of the family where we had to watch our what do you call it, P's and Q's, whatever you call it.
Yeah, P's and Q's.
And then we had another side of the family where we could just be ourselves and that. So I think that's where that's come from, really.
P's and Q's.
So yeah, I've embraced it.
Fucking years.
Yeah, P's and Q's, isn't it?
What does it even mean?
It's a good job I don't say HQ instead of IQ. Well, I said that to somebody the other week. I said, "You think I haven't got a good HQ?
So,
HQ, don't you?"
So she was arguing with someone, and she told me this.
I only realised I said it a few days later.
The person was saying something to her a bit condescending, and so she turns around. She meant IQ. She went, "You think I got a low HQ, don't you?" Ironically enough, yes, I do, Shelley.
That person must have been pissing himself laughing after thinking,
yeah, that's quite
she's quite a funny girl, actually. I'll stick around.
We should call it a day.
Right.
Shelley's boring me. I don't know. I don't know for this
I was
5
hoping you'd
shit.
say that.
I am so curious as to what the reaction is going to be to this.
I can't
But
fucking wait.
I think it'll be very good because what people like on this podcast, what we've seen, is not necessarily whether or not they agree with us. They like the fucking open, flowing conversation, whatever we're saying, whatever it is. Because we've said some fucking far out shit. We've made a podcast literally almost not denouncing it, but basically saying a lot of people who talk about mental health are fucking trying to get attention. We said shit like that, like shit you cannot say, and people have been like, "Fuck me, this is mad. It's a mad conversation." You know what I mean?
I
We
think
just say proper shit.
And people should be entitled to free speech.
Yeah, to
You
be
know,
fair,
that's-
this is why we made this
Yeah.
podcast for the
Free speech,
for the pure fact that we can come on this put a camera right in front of us and say whatever we want and not care what anyone says.
We're supposed to live in a liberal world.
Do you know what I mean?
We're
Most
supposed to be liberated.
most podcasts like this have people behind the camera telling them telling them they can't say
that,
this,
don't
can't
say
say
that.
this.
So we've got
We're in our kitchen
freedom.
Just chatting.
with
Yeah.
nothing. Like
Freedom! Freedom!
We've got her going
freedom!
like a
we've
manic
got an autistic woman in the corner. But with that being said, I think it would only be right to then have my mum on next episode.
Yeah.
So then you can meet the parents
Yeah, bring it
and
on.
meet
Meet the fuckers.
yeah, meet the people that are the reason why we are who we are.
Yeah.
Because, well, I mean, everyone knows you. No one's has a clue what my mum is.
Brilliant.
What she
She's
is.
not hybrid, is she?
You are?
She's not hybrid.
No,
not
she's a
reptile.
fucking alien.
Well, bring her on then.
But,
She's a literal
I'm only kidding.
alien.
I'm kidding.
but yeah,
Just joking.
I think that's it.
I'm a legal alien. I'm an Indian in New York.
Goodbye.
Shelley's Instagram will be linked below, by the way. She's got an Instagram, so if you want to,
Oh,
if you
I've
want
got a
to,
bit of my head now. I
no,
need to calm down.
No, because if you pass me followers, I'm deleting my account. I'm not even joking.
get Shell more followers.
Connor,
You've got
got a Kit Kat.
That's staying in. Goodbye. She just asked you for a Kit Kat.
Don't put that in. Seriously, we weren't friends. I'll see that.
Oh,
Accept
you
it.
asked me because of
Was that alright now?
Pause my phone.
I enjoyed that.